2020 version of The Grudge, which is... It seems like the series is rebooted. You know, they called it a reboot. The movie's not exactly a reboot, but this seems like the series is rebooted here.
It's like a soft reboot.
Yeah.
That's kind of the, that's the term that I've heard. Soft reboot. And I guess the thing is, it would be a lot easier to discern this stuff if you could find the original movie anywhere.
Yeah, that's an issue Ron and I both fucking had. We tried to go back and watch the, I want to call it the original Grudge, but I know there's a ton of variations of this movie. But
right.
The original American adaptation of Ju-on, the Japanese version.
Yep.
Just to go back and get a frame of reference, and it just wasn't anywhere to be streamed.
No.
At all. The
Yeah,
second and third movies were.
Yeah.
The original.
And you could watch them for free.
Yeah.
The second and third, but the original, they do not want you to see.
No.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's so that you wouldn't remember how much of the first movie they riffed on in this one.
Yeah. Well, I was watching an interview with the director, a short one, and when he was doing this movie, he was, there's, like I said, there's the Japanese versions, there's the American versions, there's the book, there's a video game as well.
Really?
That's for, it's for the Nintendo Wii, and he said, I wanted to take something from all of these things, not just the parts that I liked, and it made a lot of sense, because this movie, it kind of seemed there were a lot of different moving parts there that didn't quite gel together.
Yeah.
They seemed they took a lot of different things and just threw it in there, and it seemed out of place.
What's your overall take? How did you feel? I know that this was one of your most anticipated.
Yeah, it was something I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
When the original Grudge came out, I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I love the paranormal shit. It really creeps me the fuck out. So
yeah.
This is something I, in 2020. Well, technically they made it in 2019. Came out in 2020. I figured with the great minds of today and the technology they had, they could do a lot of cool things with this movie. And I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I was very neutral with this movie. There were a lot of times where I was just held my breath in anticipation. Like I said, the paranormal stuff really it gets me. Yeah. So there were a good amount of parts in this movie that freaked me the fuck out.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? What'd you think?
I really went into it excited. Mm-hmm. I went into it very excited, and then as I was watching it, I hate to say this, the first scene they lost me. It was right off the bat.
I agree 100% with this.
I think the same 5-year-old that wrote Cats wrote this movie. No, it's just it's this thing where we've talked about it before. John and I are big Lost fans. That was the first thing that I noticed was her being what do we do when we're scared? And the son's we close our eyes and we count to 5. Yeah. And it's that's Jack.
Yeah.
First episode of Lost. That's Jack. And then the other thing that really bothered me was when she was I forget exactly how she led up to this, but you can trust me or whatever because I'm a cop. Mm-hmm. And it's why would she bring that up?
She said it to her son, right? If it's the part I'm thinking of. Yeah.
She said it to her son, but she really said it to us.
Yeah.
Parlor tricks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that. You're gonna show her you're gonna show her being a policewoman in 2 scenes. Why not leave that as a surprise?
Yeah.
Maybe play up her vulnerability, play up the fact that she, maybe you're underestimating her, right? And you're sort of watching her struggle through a morning, and you're wow, this lady's incompetent. And then it's you find out she's a cop, and you're oh, and it shifts your perspective. Instead, they let the fucking cat out of the bag immediately.
Yeah.
And it was very odd to me. And I don't like when they just tell you shit.
Yeah. You find out that her husband passed away of cancer, and it was 3 months ago from the present day.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something she's struggling with. You know, they kind of just totally threw that all out there and let it come natural.
Yeah.
But then they just say, I'm a cop.
I'm a cop. Yeah.
Damn, I wasn't gonna fucking figure that one out.
Even if they showed like, okay, like the kid's going to school, and then they show her and she like walks into a room and she opens a drawer and she takes out a gun. You're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, she's a cop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could have been fun.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done something with that, but it was weird. They like sidestepped it. I was kind of disappointed in that. There's a couple of moments like that throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, man, I think you could have done this a little bit different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the same way. They made a movie.
Yeah.
I watched a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
People did a lot of dumb things in this movie. They gotta, they gotta stop doing the predictable shit. I mean, they gotta stop adding scenes in the movie that it's just like we're purposely just adding this just to scare you type thing, because it kind of like messes with the flow of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, I like things that feel organic. There's definitely a way to scare the fucking shit out of me without adding a scene where it's like, all right, we're gonna put the camera from the mirror, and we're gonna, as soon as she bends down, it's like it's gonna be right behind her, and it's just gonna shove her face into the, for some reason, for her to splash her face, she fills up the whole sink.
Yeah.
Setting up for this Grudge character.
Well, it's in case anybody wants to drown her.
Yeah, if someone wants to drown me, let me just fucking fill this entire sink up, and then lo and behold, it seizes the opportunity and just fucking, and then it just lets it go and it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, this thing is staged as a curse. When there's a brutal murder, it's the birth of this curse, of this thing that's just gonna just terrorize you.
Yeah.
But I never got a hint of it liking, kind of like that cat and mouse thing, like to play with its prey.
Yeah.
I know it haunts you, but they never really say that that's something that is a personality trait of this thing.
I think they fuck it up in that I almost feel like the build-up is too extreme or non-existent, maybe is a better way to put it. So like that's almost one of the first things that happens to her, right?
Yeah.
So the thing tries to fucking drown her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, maybe it knocks over a picture frame. Maybe it's a slow build up to that type of terror. You know what I mean? And instead they jump right into it. I felt like that was very strange to me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't build tension. It's lacking tension. The big scary thing already happened.
Well, that's what I thought you were referring to in the beginning scene of the movie when the woman that was working in Japan that brought this curse back to the United States.
Yes.
They cut to the scene. She's walking outside. She's calling, who I'm assuming is the woman that owns the home where she's working for. And it's like, I gotta go. And it's in broad daylight.
Yeah.
And very quickly it's like you show this thing behind her. I mean, it doesn't really set the scene to scare me. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird how that happens.
Oh.
Haley!
Hey!
Hi!
Welcome.
Infamous.
Always walking in.
Ah!
He's blinded now.
Yeah, that opening scene was
There was no
it's
tension.
not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Not only was there no tension build, but they didn't even set the scene up to be scary.
No.
Just kind of, there it is.
Yeah. No, it was a weird, I think it was relying on the older movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, I honestly don't even really remember. I can't even watch it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened.
Well,
and I just am like, well, all right, big deal. Like, I recognize the house.
I was gonna say that too. I recognize the house, but I can't tell you for sure that that's what was in the movie because I couldn't go back and watch it.
No, it's very strange to me,
Mhm.
and I don't really. I understand why they kind of did what they did and why they had to recap the way that they did, but I also don't. It's been long enough that it's like, just like give us like a real refresher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't even know really like how you would do it, unless like you could have been cool to see things from the ghost's perspective. You're seeing sort of the events that transpired in the first movie from the ghost's perspective. It's like, oh, okay. It kind of gives you a refreshing memory, but it also puts you in the soul, in the shoes of this thing, this creature, this entity, and then, you know, step outside of that perspective again, you know?
Yeah.
But it was very odd. I didn't like that. I did like the fact that they had they have like the Tokyo streets and stuff, and you can see like the KFC sign. There's a KFC sign, and there's a big thing in Japan with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, there's like this Japanese businessman that couldn't make it, was struggling, and then like he came to America and he had KFC, and he was just like, this is the greatest food that's ever been invented ever. And he was like, this is how I'm going to make it. I'm taking this back.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring this to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'm going to, you know, he was like, can I open up a franchise in Japan? KFC was like, fucking, yeah, all right, fine. So he opened up a franchise, and it fucking failed miserably.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't like KFC over there?
Yeah,
No?
it was terrible, right? But then, right, he like got to work on the marketing of KFC, and he was like, he told everybody, he was like, hey, you know how we don't like, he was like, you guys don't know this because we don't really do Christmas in Japan, but here's the thing, your Colonel Sanders in America, okay, in America, Colonel Sanders is Santa Claus. Yeah, he is Santa Claus, right? And what happens is when Christmas comes, Americans, they will open their presents in the morning, which is something that you do know, and then every night, it's traditional, every Christmas night, it's traditional for Americans to go out and buy anywhere from $80 to $200 of Kentucky Fried Chicken to eat with their family. And he was like, and that's something that we should probably adopt here. And then everybody was like, what a great fucking idea.
Yeah.
So now every Christmas, Japan goes nuts with KFC.
No way.
100% true. 100%
How do you know,
true.
How do you know this stuff? Like, where do you...
I'm a connoisseur of fast foods.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I eat it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't eat fast food that much, but
So he
I do
fucking...
enjoy myself.
He just lied. He just lied completely. And
I want to fact check it.
yeah, and you know something is like after the main reason people weren't interested was because they weren't trying it. But he created a situation
For people to actually...
where, okay, I guess we'll do it because Americans do it, and then they were like, actually, this is not bad.
Yeah.
And now KFC is a thing in Japan. Now it actually is profitable there. Not just on one day.
Seems kind of an unfair trade-off. I mean, we have a Japanese man coming to America, goes back, brings KFC. Everybody loves KFC. And we have an American woman who goes over to Japan, comes back and brings this fucking curse. It seems kind of like a little one-sided there.
Well, over time, you're going to see the curse of KFC there. You're going to start seeing lifespans dropping.
Holy shit.
It kind of tracks.
Yeah.
You know,
on second thought, that was more even of a trade than I thought.
Can they do a Japanese remake of the American Grudge?
Yeah.
And make it about KFC?
Yeah. Just people getting really fat and dying.
Oh, man. Wow. That would actually, I'd watch that, man. If you framed like a foreign fast food restaurant as a curse, a ghostly curse on it, I would watch that. That'd be pretty funny. We're gonna make that movie.
Dude,
Your cat is 100% trying to figure out how we can fuck this show up.
Yeah. No, it looked like he was watching. He's watching the screen.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he an audience member?
I think so.
I thought he was like, I'm gonna tackle that fucking thing. He's getting big, man.
He is getting big.
What a big boy.
Oh,
He's gonna sit down.
Sitting on a chair and he was looking up and watching it like we're on the TV.
Yeah, that was
He
cool.
was like, I fucking know those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew them back when they were just sitting at my kitchen table. Oh, They are.
Yeah.
Still at my kitchen table. What a cute boy. He gives me a little wink.
Yeah. Oh man.
A cute cat.
I could spend the rest of this episode just admiring how cute he is.
Right. What a good boy.
Dude, I waste so much time just picking them up and just fucking petting them and just being lazy.
It's nice to have something to love.
Yeah.
Loves you unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the story of KFC in Japan, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just funny because I know that little piece of trivia, and then they were showing like a street in Tokyo, and there's all these it's all this Asian lettering and stuff, Japanese lettering, and then just sticking out like a sore thumb is Colonel Sanders up on a sign. And I was like, no shit, look at him.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. I have an Apache hunter's sense when it comes to KFC. It'd be like 50 miles away, and I'd be like, dude, fucking KFC.
Those famous bowls are good.
Dude, KFC, like, you feel dirty eating it, but it's
yeah,
fucking good. It is. I don't know. It's fucking hard to deal with. I'm glad that there's not too many around, although you're kind of fucked. You got one, like, down the street from your house.
Yeah, which I haven't gone to in years. I think the last time...
Are we getting KFC later? Is that what's happening?
That's exactly
We're already
what's
off this diet?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm down.
Were there any positives about the movie? Anything you liked?
I think, I was going to look up his name. And I can't come up with it now. I forgot to do it.
Which
guy he was in Harold and Kumar.
Jonathan Cho?
John Cho, yes.
John Cho?
Yeah, that guy. He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, Nina.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered Nina. And he was Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Something. Octavio. Something fucking crazy. But Nina was great. I like that subplot of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have I have a weird critique of that, right? So they have it set up. If you want to really because ghosts are this ghost is vengeful. It doesn't care. It's just gonna fucking tear apart whoever just for fun. It's kind of like when you watch The Woman in Black. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Okay, The Woman in Black, that moment at the end where they've reunited her with her son. Like, oh, great, the curse is over, and then it's like she will never fucking forgive, and it doesn't matter. And she spoilers. She does some bad things right at the end of the movie, and it's just because that's her nature. It's just I felt like if this ghost is cruel and evil and all this shit, right? You have it set up perfect. So John Cho is at the house babysitting that little girl,
which was very odd to me.
Yeah, it was creepy. The whole ghost thing, with her and the nosebleed and then the blood, that was fucking nuts.
I mean, that was
good shit.
That was cool, but I mean he falls asleep there, and he's there for hours. And he's with this little girl, and he has no idea where her parents are. And not once is you should probably call the cops. Maybe something here is wrong.
I think he's trying to keep them out of trouble, but
I don't know.
Honestly, an absentee parent of that sort, they deserve to be in trouble. That's just the way it's gonna be. But
I don't know. He's trying to sell the house business, I guess.
Yeah, that too.
It was odd.
But so that scene's playing out, and then he gets the phone call from his wife, and the thing that they're struggling with is they never even get into this. They just threw out a couple of letters, and it's I guess I have to Google this shit. But ALD.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I have no fucking idea what it is.
I haven't Googled it.
But anyways, I think it was ALD.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's figure out what fucking ALD is.
So they're trying to figure out if they're going to keep the baby, because I guess that's really not. It would be very hard. It would be very difficult to raise a child with this disorder. And then she calls him, and she's like, "Hey," and they're kind of talking, and they're sort of beating around the bush. And then he's like, how are you feeling about all of that stuff? And she's like, well, I never wanted kids, but I love this baby more than I ever thought was possible, and I'm going to love it no matter what, and that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, goes, 10,000 fucking light years away in his face, it's like he's in another dimension. And she's like, hey, are you still there? And he's like, yeah. I'm very happy, right? And I think that's genuine. I think he genuinely is like, oh, thank God, because I want to keep the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then he winds up getting kind of possessed or whatever. He goes back to the house, and then when she hears him come in, and she gets up and she walks into the kitchen. He's standing there with scissors. She's like, what's going on? And he just turns to her really creepily, and she's like, what's wrong? What's happening? And then all of a sudden, across the room, and they do the aftermath. Mm-hmm. The aftermath is, she's dead, cut up with the scissors, and he's drowned himself in the tub, right? And I'm like, if you wanted to really, I'm not saying that you have to do this, and it is kind of exploitative, but also it feels like the correct thing to do in terms of the script is for us to visually see that for her, she thinks, oh my God, he didn't want the baby, he was mad. Because that was her thing the entire time. Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I know it's super tragic, but that's the ghost. That's how evil this fucking thing is it's I literally possessed your husband, and I'm preying on the knowledge that I have of you guys' situation to make your death as horrible as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want you to die thinking that he's offing you because you've produced an offspring that's sick, all of this shit. That's what it wants to leave you with. That's what it wants to take you out of this life with.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like them not doing that, it almost felt like their story wasn't complete. They cut away at the climax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go back to, I know this thing's intentions is to kill whoever steps into this house, for whatever reason.
Right.
Is it 1 foot in? Is it 2 feet in? Is it poking your head in?
What is it? Yeah, what does it take?
I'm like, what's the threshold here?
I stepped on the footpath.
Yeah.
I walked up the porch.
It's
I opened the mailbox.
What
is it? What is it?
Exactly. I looked up ALD, and I'm not going to try and pronounce, but it's a severe brain disorder. I didn't get the details, but I didn't know what it was before.
I didn't know. I had no idea. And they didn't it wasn't. It's not one that you hear.
I was going to say, yeah.
Like if they said Asperger's, you go, oh, okay. I kind of know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
ALD, I was like, I guess that's bad.
Yeah.
Could be great.
Yeah.
But it seems like it might be bad.
Superpowers.
And then they're crying about it and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's real bad. I had no idea. But I thought his performance and her performance, they were very genuine. They didn't feel like they were in a B movie.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they were in an actual a film. But that's really sad. Yeah. Because then you're looking at your main character. It's she's zany, over the top, and really feels like she's from the era that The Grudge came out. There's this weird push back then, because you had The Grudge and The Ring, and I feel like even Silent Hill kind of played on this thing where it's we're making a horror movie, and we know that generally horror movies kind of suck. So what they do is they're we're gonna just do a cut above what you would expect the quality of a horror movie to be.
Mm-hmm.
And now horror movies are they're getting back into that The Shining type level of status, where there's some horror movies that are wow, holy fuck, Hereditary. I throw Hereditary out there, and it's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I like that one.
The Witch is a lot slower, but in terms of psychological terror, it's whoa. you know, and so we're getting back into like prestige horror, and I feel like the acting in this needs like a touch up, you know. Everybody needs to get lifted up a little bit.
I feel like this movie had a lot of potential. That's why I was looking forward to it, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of really shitty horror movies in my day, and The Grudge was one of them that I, you know, reflect back on a higher note.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen, so.
Especially like, again, it's the time that it's coming out, you know, because at that point, like that was prestige horror. That was the high end, you know, and then, you know, it's a good thing. It's progression. You're seeing really talented filmmakers be like, I'm doing horror. Like we're gonna do a horror movie. It's gonna scare the piss out of all you, you know. But by comparison, it makes people that are a little bit more. I don't know what the polite way to say this is. I felt like this movie was put together by, I guess, somebody that's like still learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now horror is kind of crowded with masters. You know, I felt like Andy Muschietti did that too, because I felt like Chapter 1 felt like it was a masterwork, and I felt like Chapter 2 felt like this. It's like just that, you know, it's just it's a rung lower in quality, and but it wasn't bad. I don't know. You watch it again?
What?
This movie?
Would I watch it again? If I did watch it again.
No.
No, probably not. I think maybe if I was able to go back and watch some of the older adaptations.
That's true. Actually, that might be the way that I would go.
All right, I'd probably go and watch it again.
Yeah.
Just there's some fucking frame of reference on there, you know. But
yeah, it was hard to remember what happened in the original story, and I get the Grudge and the Ring confused. It's always there's always two versions of everything. Mm-hmm. Like when something happens, there's always two, and it's odd. Very strange.
Another one that was very similar, Shudder.
I've heard about Shudder.
You haven't seen it?
That's the boyfriend, and there's a camera that they used for some illicit, terrible activity that resulted in somebody's death. That person's haunting them.
I think something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean this was another one that came out. Excuse me, a long time ago. Mm. So I don't remember the exact details, but I remember it was kind of like a cursed type thing, and you know he sees this. I believe he sees this thing pop up in pictures.
Yes.
You know, and he's kind of being haunted by this thing, and you know, at the end of the movie, I think they did a picture of himself, and it turns out the thing was just on his back the whole time.
Yeah.
He's been having back pains the whole movie. Something wasn't feeling right, and he takes that picture and he just sees it just fucking attached to him. It was really creepy. Like there's something that
that's
creeps me
cool.
out.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, that's good shit. There's a wave of like that Japanese horror like being imported into America, like in the early 2000s. And I think that this is like their attempt to like restart that. And I don't know if it's going to. I don't think that this makes like. Didn't they try to do Rings last year? It was like another Ring movie.
Did they?
I swear to God, it was called Rings. Almost positive.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, real recently. Either last year or the year
Let's
before.
look it up.
And I don't think that did well. I don't know what it takes, what a good ghost story would look like now.
Oh yeah, 2017.
2017?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, with ghost stories, there's just so much potential. You know, you can do a lot with it.
You can do a lot of like crazy shit. I feel like people aren't utilizing them to their fullest, you know? I think it's interesting how the Grudge breaks format, though, and it's like, no, ghosts hunt people, not places. So, yeah, like this ghost kind of hangs out in this one house. That's its trap that it's set. But if you walk into the house, then it's like, no, I'll come to your place. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'll scare the shit out of you right from the comfort of your own house.
Yeah.
I don't even have to come here again. I like that. That's a cool concept. I like the idea that it's like it's gonna follow you around.
Yeah.
You know?
Like if you step foot in this cursed place, you know, it's just like you're fucked.
You're marked. Yeah.
The detective, he even told her, she's like, why didn't you ever go in the house? He's like, it just felt weird. You know, my partner, he just said something about it. It almost sounded like his partner like had an intuition for it, and that I just assumed his partner never went in.
Yeah.
But his partner does go in.
Right.
And that was another one that didn't quite like fit. Like, when you first see, he talks about his partner, and then you meet him by like this flashback, and he's standing outside the house in the pouring rain, and the woman who was supposed to be there for like the help case of suicide, she sees him, and that's when you find out that was his partner, and he's just outside staring at the house.
Yeah.
And just comes back every now and then for some reason.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. It was just, I feel like it was...
It just comes back to Mad Dog, the owner.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Like he's just mad at the house.
Yeah.
And,
I hate your curtains.
Yeah.
You suck.
Stupid house. Just...
I thought he didn't like interracial relationships. It's like, what a fucking bigot.
Yeah.
You know? That's why he showed up.
Mm-hmm.
The black man married to a white woman, he's not happy about it. Fucking 50s era fucking jerk.
Yeah. When the guy calls the detective and he goes, oh, he's here again.
Yeah.
And it's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
It just seems like another thing to throw in there and be like, this is supposed to be creepy.
Yeah.
I'm creeped out by this. And it's like, well, why? It doesn't make any sense why he's there.
Yeah. It's like he just shows up to like, he really does. He's just like staring. I'm in a horror movie, so I'm doing something that's creepy.
Yeah. And the thing just doesn't kill him.
No. It kills everybody else. Why is he exempt?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Exactly.
Also, I got two things, all right? I thought that whole sequence was probably one of the better ones in the movie, with her going to the store.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. She's like looking at the meat. It's like there's flies buzzing around. It's like, what the fuck's going on? And the little girl's standing next to her, and then she like feels the squishy.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, you know? That was cool. And I like the shot of her like she's pulling out of her parking spot, and she goes past the camera, and then the tail end of the car goes past the camera, and the little girl's sitting in the back seat. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like those visual things that are like the subtle visual horror. That's good. Then she goes back to the house. Dude's standing there in the rain. She goes in. She's like, "There's a man staring at your house." And he's like, "Oh my God." And he picks up the phone and he's like, "He's here again."
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
And he hangs up. And then I like that bit of comedy where she was like, she's like, oh, he's like, oh, the woman that's there to help with the assisted suicide is like, why does he do that? And he's like, well, he worked a case back here. I guess he worked a case in this house back before we owned it. I guess it really affected him. And she was like, oh, was it like a murder? And they just are like completely like deadpan, like,
yeah.
And then she's like, oh my God, it was.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was good.
They had a few comedic moments, and it all revolved around that woman. Other than that, there was nothing funny.
Like when he was giving her the whole speech about like, maybe it's a good thing and everything. Maybe it keeps us connected and all that shit. And then like they show the house and there's like that beautiful music playing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just cuts to her packing her bags. Like, I'm fucking gone.
Well, the music cuts out by they hear the zip.
Yeah,
like,
it's fucking
it's
great.
A zip with authority. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I wonder if this guy did comedies at all, because he feels like the way he edits feels like a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to finish one thing real quick, but so one of the things that bothered me, right? So the guy calls the detective. The detective shows up, grabs his partner. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You keep doing this fucking shit. You gotta let it go." All this stuff, and they're having this conversation. Then in the car, like the dude like takes his gun out, and you're like, "You just waiting." Like I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I was like, bang, you know? And he falls into his partner's lap, and his partner was like, oh, Jesus, what the fuck? Why? You know? And then later on, our main character goes to visit this guy in the hospital, or in the mental asylum, that's where they put him, right? And, you know, he's a survivor of an attempted suicide, so his face is scarred up.
Mm-hmm.
Did that seem way overboard to you?
Yeah.
Like, he had the rip in the mouth, and, like, his jaw was, like, off-kilter from the gunshot wound. What is with the fucking burns up almost to his fucking forehead?
Not to mention, did you notice, like, the way he talked? At some points it was very clear, and at some points it was murmured like this, you know?
Yeah, like, they
he was
had different
talking like
takes
this.
that they were merging.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he'd be, like, talking normal, and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just weird. I don't know. It was weird.
That whole thing was odd to me. I was looking at his face, and I'm like, am I missing a part?
Yeah.
Like, is there a scene where, like, okay, the gunshot didn't work, so I'm going to light my face on fire? Like, it seemed like they made makeup for an entirely different scenario, you know?
It's like they had a scenario where he just, like, something happens to him, and they accidentally spliced in the wrong scene, and they're like, God damn it.
Yeah, oh, shit.
Too late now.
Yeah. Maybe they had one of our issues, and the audio was all fucked up.
Yeah.
I can't use this? God damn it.
We're on the same budget of the Grudge 2020, so...
That's it.
That's it.
Shoestring, baby. Shoestring budgets.
Well, another part that I thought was pretty funny, but it wasn't like meant to be funny. You know, when she you know, the woman who's coming in for the assisted suicide, and she says, listen, you know, we the big thing is we need our patients to understand what they're doing. They need full control, full mental capacity here. You know, let's go meet your wife and see. And she walks in, and this woman's clearly batshit crazy, talking to this ghost, and she goes, I'm sorry, like, I made it pretty clear that I can't do this if the patient isn't, you know, fully mentally there. And he's just like, do you see her? She's fucking crazy. Like, can you please just kill her? Like, take her off my hands for me, please.
Well, I have questions about that guy's motives, right? Because,
yeah.
So here's the thing. My wife's crazy. Why? She's talking to people that aren't there, right? And then, like, fucking, like, 5 scenes later, she's like, I think that your house might be haunted. And he's like, I know. So it's like, wait a minute. So he knows that these imaginary people are there and are real.
Well,
so why is he trying to kill his wife?
Yeah, it's true.
It's just like he wants it gone. She's a burden. I want her out of my fucking house.
Well,
I want to get laid.
I mean, I don't know. It was weird because then he goes on to say, you know, that he knows that they're there, and he's like, "Oh, we figured someone like you would be sympathetic to our situation and understand it more."
Right.
And first of all, if I'm her, I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "You knew this was going on, and you
just let me come in,
let me come here and stay here, you motherfucker."
Yeah,
you know, like, what are you doing?
I'm not gonna kill her. I'll kill you.
Yes,
you
fucking
jerk,
you fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Well, and then he says, you know, he's like, this house is like the connection to the afterlife, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like, gives me hope that when she passes away, she'll still be here. And I said, well, what are you in a rush to kill her for?
Yeah, what the fuck is with that guy's motivations?
I know.
That guy is like on the fence about everything, man. Because here's the thing: is like if they were able to demonstrate other ways that she was sick, then I would have been more okay with it. Mm-hmm. But it really does seem like his entire opinion about why she needs to be gone is wrapped up in she's talking to people who aren't there.
Yeah.
She's clearly lost her mind. And I know that those people are there, but I still, please, for God's sakes, would you fucking kill her?
Yeah.
Please.
Like, just fucking do it.
Just do it.
I mean,
I can't stand her anymore, man. It's 50 fucking years of marital paradise, right?
It almost takes that scene where he's feeding her the pear. It's like very like nice and sweet.
It's like, ooh,
but
it's like arsenic, huh?
Yeah, it's like maybe it's like overly sarcastic, like, oh, you eat this fucking pear, dude. You fucking already eat this.
Yeah, like the backstory is that she hates pears.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, you're gonna eat it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was messy. That was messy.
You know, you've seen the paranormal beings. You know that they're not pleasant, and that's what you want to send your wife to, if that's what you really want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. If there's something weird going on at the place I live, I don't stay there. I get the fuck out of there, and I go as far away as I possibly can.
And you place a call. Place a call.
Something
to
happens.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, you fucking call it Ghostbusters.
I think they played that trailer in front of us, and I was like, how appropriate.
A Ghostbusters trailer?
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
There's another one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's not a sequel to the all-female one, because that didn't... Something about that didn't land.
There's another Ghostbusters, huh?
Yeah, it's like a direct sequel to, I think, Ghostbusters 2. I don't know why... I feel like there's something upsetting that happens where, like, when people put out bad movies, they find politically charged reasons why their movie failed. Mm-hmm. And they did that with the Ghostbusters, the female Ghostbusters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were like, well, it's because everybody's sexist. And it's like, or you made a shitty movie.
Yeah.
That's possible, too.
Yeah, they don't even take that in as a possibility.
No. And it doesn't excuse, like, the way that the internet reacted to some of them, like the Leslie Jones stuff. It's like, the fuck? Yeah. It's just a bunch of racist assholes.
Yeah, there are a bunch of people. Like,
yeah.
You know, but it's like, you know, it's, you see those people and then you take the worst criticisms and then you apply it to everybody.
Well, yeah, and like, everybody hits and misses, man. So Mike Myers, Austin Powers, pretty successful. Mm-hmm. Everybody likes it. The Love Guru? Does anybody even remember it?
No, I don't.
No! It was the same type of thing. It was him playing multiple characters and, like, being eccentric and weird and shit. And it was fucking vapid. There was nothing there. It sucked. And I went to see it. Based on Austin Powers. Oh. Yeah, based on Austin Powers, I went to see The Love Guru. I wasn't happy about it. Wasn't happy about it. Very disappointed.
This new Ghostbusters looks like a pretty fucking cool cast.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, man.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver. I love me some Paul Rudd.
Sigourney Weaver's in it too.
Yeah.
That's cool. She's playing her character from like the original fucking Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it seems like they are bringing a lot of original people back. I mean, I never really got into Ghostbusters.
I don't understand why it's as big as it is.
Probably the times.
I guess
we grew up with it and watched it when it came out. Maybe.
I guess it's funny. I guess it doesn't. I don't know. Never really did anything for me.
No.
But they could have used them in this movie.
Yeah,
would have been appropriate.
Fucking solid everything. You could have probably stopped this thing from even getting to America if you just fucking called Ghostbusters Wild.
Yeah, well, they don't have a Japan division. Yeah. They don't have a Tokyo Ghostbusters.
Another thing I was wondering, so this curse, it stems from brutal murders. So does that mean every time somebody is brutally murdered in their homes, this curse arises? So, I mean, it should be, theoretically, all over the fucking world. And, like, a lot more common than you think.
Yeah, I mean, people like to kill each other.
Yeah.
There's one thing I've learned.
Yeah, people like it.
People love it.
Domestic violence is it's a pretty common thing. But, so, she brings it back to Japan. These brutal murders happen in that house, and that's the house that this whole story is focused on.
Yes.
But then, John Cho's character, Spencer, is his name,
Spencer,
brutally murders his wife.
Shouldn't that be?
Shouldn't that now be?
Yeah.
You know, like a fucking.
I don't understand how it works
for this thing.
It's too vague.
And then at the end,
they're like, when someone dies, when someone is killed in the midst of a powerful rage, a curse is born and stuff. And it's like, there's a lot of people that have been fucking killed, and the thing on their mind was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, no, fuck you. Yeah. That's the last thought they had. Yeah. So there's lots of people that have died that way. And I mean, any place where a war was fought, which is every fucking country in the fucking world.
Any murder is pretty aggressive. You know, again,
if you see it coming, you're going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
You're like, no!
Like, if you poison someone, is that not grounds for this curse to be born? It's like, it wasn't brutal enough. It's got to be at least fucking 6 pints of bloodshed.
They need to be aware because they need to be angry.
Yeah.
That's the key. You got to be angry to become a ghost in this universe.
Got it.
But most people that are dying, I imagine,
aren't very
anger is part of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You go through like the stages of grief with yourself. you know, and anger is one of them. So like if you're dying in that type of situation, chances are you're gonna turn into an absolute douchebag of a ghost.
Yeah, at least at one point during that, like, you gotta be like, fuck, man. Fuck.
If I ever get a chance to murder people, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna destroy other people's lives because mine got destroyed. Is this about me? Was this about me? This movie? What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
What am I doing?
It's about you.
God damn it. That's upsetting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too deeply into this.
No, that's a valid point. Because there's nothing based on the description of how this happens.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly special about the original murder.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's just say that this particular, like, the ghost that started all of this stuff is special. But then all that stuff that you say, when someone dies, when someone is murdered in the grip of a powerful rage, a curse is born, and all this stuff, all of that has to be thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find a reason why this particular ghost is especially unsavory, you know? And I don't feel like they did that, you know? I have another problem. All right.
We like problems here at WT Photo.
Yes. You got problems? We'll solve them. Here's the thing. So, the way he packs up her bags is like, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge before things get crazy, right?
The assisted suicide woman?
Yeah, what is it? Loretta? Something?
Oh,
Laverne?
look, it is. It's, fuck. Something L. I'm so bad at remembering names. It's like...
Female names in particular. This guy.
No, that's you. That's your MO.
Misogynist.
That's your motherfucker.
Total misogynist.
Asshole. I'll find it. I'll fucking find it. Right.
She was Lorraine, Loretta, Laverne.
It was something like fucking
Labrador? Was it Labrador?
It could have been.
Lonnie?
You ever see those wooden frog things that have like the ridged backs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what this thing sounds like.
That is what it's. Yeah. Holy shit. That might have been what they used, man. They might have recorded that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it sounds too much like that. Where the fuck is she?
Just look for any L name, because a lot of times they use like old pictures. This is what she looked like when she was 14. Like, thanks, I can't figure it out.
Lorna Moody.
Lorna Moody. There she is. So she's getting ready to leave, and she's like, you know, I pack up my bags. I can get the fuck out of this house before things go completely off the rails. And then she walks into the kitchen, and Mrs. Matheson is standing there, facing away from us. She's doing something. Right. And she's like, oh, Mrs. Matheson, how good it is to see you up and about, you know? And then she's like, Mrs. Matheson. She doesn't respond. She's like, Mrs. Matheson. She walks around the counter. This whole fucking thing is shot so weird and edited so funny because they don't show the moment of her seeing it. They just did a smash cut to the guy, like lying on the ground with a knife in his neck.
Oh, yeah.
Or the fork. It was a fork.
A fork, yeah.
A fork in his neck. And then she's like, oh my God, what did you do? What did you do? Right? And Mrs. Matheson turns around and she's like, what? And she's like chopping her fucking fingers off on this cutting board, right? And then she like turns and she's facing this woman and you see the shot of her hand down and you see the blood out. And the lady's like, ah! And she fucking runs out of the house. She's like, ah! And she drives away and she's driving down the road and then all of a sudden there's a ghost in the backseat. And she turns and she crashes into the thing and it breaks her fucking arm and then she dies. Right? Okay, cool. Then I go back. I'm thinking about the beginning of the movie. Right? At the beginning of the movie, they're like, we found a car. There's a dead person in it. Lorna Moody. I'm like, oh. And then they were able to track down where she came from.
Yeah.
Okay? But she didn't live in that house. She was a visitor.
Mm-hmm.
So what link did they have between her car and herself and that house? Was it a day planner or something that she had scheduled an appointment there?
I think they found something in like the glove box that had the directions to that house on there. I think this was before GPSs, so maybe there was like a MapQuest page.
Yeah,
you know?
right. So that's okay. But here's the thing. So now they're like, oh wow, that's fucking crazy, you know? And then nobody's like, we should go check out the house, except our protagonist that seems like she stops by after work.
Yeah,
I think it seemed like, yeah, right? It's fucking weird. So she goes, and she walks, she's like, hello, police, hello? And then you hear like, inside, and you're like, what the fuck is that, right? So she's like, all right, well, I'm going to knock again one more time. Police open up, and then I'm just going to enter the premises, because I guess that's a stretch for probable cause. If you ask me, somebody crying in the comfort of their own home is common. If police were able to do that, they'd be walking into every house in America any day of the week.
I just thought that was weird, the way people just walk into this fucking house.
Yeah, I guess, well, the door was closed, but it wasn't locked, so I guess that means I'm in.
Yeah.
So she walks in, and she walks down, and she turns, and she's in the kitchen. There's Mrs. Matheson facing away from her. She's doing something. You don't know what. And then she's like, excuse me, can I talk to you, and all this stuff. And the lady turns around, and she's like, oh, and she's really, it's shadowed, you know, you can't see what's going on. She walks over to her, and she's like, will you feed me? Because my husband used to feed me. And then she's like, what? And then the lady goes, and she grabs her hand. And when she grabs her hand, you realize, oh my God, she's missing her fingers, right? And then she's like, holy shit! And she like takes off running, and then she looks, and there's somebody sitting in a chair over there. So she's like, ah! And she runs over and she looks, and it's the husband, he's rotting, right? And she's like, ah! And she runs out of the house, and she has to call for backup, and like, we need an ambulance, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So hold on. Let me work this out. So lady that they find in the car, Lorna, they say it looks like she's been dead for 6 months. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So for 6 months, has Mrs. Matheson not been eating? And remember that when she cut her fingers off and she turned to Lorna, there was blood pouring out of her hand.
There's still blood there, yeah.
So for 6 months, has she been standing there just blood falling on the floor?
You know, I didn't even think of that, because I remember they said it did look like, you know, her body, when they found Lorna's body, it was decomposed.
Right.
You know, so it has been a while.
Yeah. And the same with the husband. The husband's all rotted.
Yeah, he was all rotted.
And there's Mrs. Matheson picking up her husband with her fucking bleeding hands and dragging him. He's like 2-3 times bigger than her.
Yeah.
Dragging him into the den to sit him down in his chair. Unless the ghost did that, but what the fuck does the ghost care if there's a dead body on the ground?
Yeah. I mean, the
that's
only
weird,
thing I think of is she was chewing on her fingers. Maybe she was eating her fingers.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But
it wouldn't
she would have sustained herself on nothing but her own body.
Mm-hmm.
Her arm easily would be gone.
For 6 months.
And also that type of bleeding don't stop. You have to put pressure on it, you know, cauterize it, whatever. But Mrs. Matheson is not capable of doing this.
Yeah, and she was, you know, and she wasn't a ghost at that point. She was alive.
And that's what I thought they were going to do. Because I thought she was going to be like, I need an ambulance! And then, like, the ambulance was going to show up, and they were going to rush in, and they were going to be like, why did you call us? And she's going to be like, because somebody needs to tend to her. And they're like, yeah, like a coroner.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And she runs into the house, and bam! The fucking, she's rotting too!
So much better.
Right. And it would fix that plot hole. Instead, they're like, no, Mrs. Matheson is going to survive past this scene so that we can see her in a hospital for no fucking reason. And then she's going to jump off of a balcony because we couldn't see what we needed to do with this character.
Yeah.
So we just were like, we can't just not bring her back. I don't know. She fucking kills herself.
Yeah.
Weird shit, man. Bizarre.
Another thing, when she called the ambulance, I was like, all right, well, she's gonna send some more people into this home, so now they're cursed too.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
the movie completely diverges. It's just about the paramedics.
How many different people think curses once? I was like, is that why this thing only shows up sometimes? That it's busy. It's like fucking Santa Claus, dude. It has like this whole list and it has it in fucking shifts, and it's like, all right, well, at 2:30 a.m. this motherfucker's gonna get it.
like they have the ghost has Google Maps up, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna need to add another pit stop.
Yep.
It's like I'll swing by there. It's like 10 minutes off from where I need to be, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's not a bad drive, and actually I kind of like that area. It's woodsy.
Plains out its roots.
It's very. It is. You're right. I mean, it should seem like this stuff is happening nonstop everywhere you look.
Yeah.
You know, but it just isn't. Just very strange. Yeah. I'm kind of. I don't want to stop talking about this just yet because I feel like we're mining gold here, but we got to switch over to the next rung of. Because we're almost at our hour cap for the main episode. So yeah, I'm going to really quickly just do that. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see me fumbling over there. And if you're listening on Anchor, I'll be right back. John will provide you with some music.
I'm not going to sing if that's what you meant. I mean, I'll hum something catchy, I guess.
Blam.
But,
all right.
all right, well, we're off Anchor. But
yes.
YouTube, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here, and I'm having to type in this thing.
I don't have any natural talents to kill, to act as a placeholder.
You have so many talents, dude. You don't even know.
I can't even ramble. I'm rambling about nothing.
Dude, he rambles
I can't
on.
even small talk.
He rambles on.
No, I just like all the eyes are on me. I'm starting to sweat and it's getting.
I'm going as fast as I can.
Ron's just going as fast as I can. The pressure's on.
Dude, I honestly trying to type this upside down and sideways is
He's doing great. I wish y'all could see him right now.
I did it. Okay. Add recording to episode.
Bam.
All right, and now we're gonna go.
And we're back on Anchor.
We're back on Anchor. Yay!
Thank you for that short break. I needed that.
And at the top of the next hour, I'll have to do that again. We're going all night, folks. This is the drive. All right. Call the hotline number below. We're gonna raise money for Australia.
Yeah.
That would be nice, actually. We should do a charity drive.
Well, I mean, we can't even fucking give away money. Never mind raise money.
We didn't talk about that, and we've stopped talking about it too because we're like, I guess nobody's interested. Okay, use the hashtag WTFOTA giveaway 1. The number 1.
1 is in 1.
Yes.
Number 1, not OW.
Yeah.